Hey, what's up, everybody? It's been a while. Philakone here. Tuesday, October the 8th, and we're going to take a look at how the crypto market has been trending thus far. I've been extremely busy with a new move and settling into a new place. I'm also taking my parents on a small 2-week vacation to in Europe, so a little bit busy, but I'm going to try to make as much time as I can for the market as well because it's important to have a delicate balance of work and also personal life as well. So welcome back, everybody. For those that don't know me, my name is Philakone, and I've been in the crypto space now for about 9 years. This would be my third bull market that I've had experience under. I've also had the experience of the pleasure of experiencing two major bear markets as well. So I hope that with my experience, I can help you navigate through this market that we're in right now. So there's not really too much of a change, and let's just jump right into it. Let's try to keep this under 10 minutes. I know that there's a lot of uncertainty in the market right now because we haven't made some major all-time highs yet. But on the fundamental level, the interest rates are looking like they're going to be cut. Looks like the federal election is also swaying towards the side of Trump, which is what we need. I'm not going to get into a political debate or anything, but Trump would be the administration that would help us promote crypto and regulate it as well, which is going to only benefit the people in crypto. There's also quantitative easing, which is also taking place as well. And hopefully with these interest rate cuts, people will have more borrowing power, which will eventually result in a major bull market as well. The number of wallets that are holding more than 0.1 Bitcoins are increasing daily as well. And we're now in Q4, which is the goal to get to. I remember in Q1, Q2, Q3, we were all just waiting to see what happened. And unfortunately, since about March the 14th, there's been just this choppy movement with some major spikes to the market and also some major downturns as well that caused a lot of uncertainty, especially when Bitcoin dropped below the $49,000 level. So on the technical level right now, the way that we see Bitcoin trending, if you take a look at it on, for example, a 4-day chart, which is my favorite chart right now, you can see multiple trend lines that have actually been hitting this top end already. And from a psychological perspective, these trend lines are extremely important because it's now been holding for a very long period of time. Let me just double check how long it's been going on here for now. So it started around March the 14th when it hit this top around over here. We'll just say the March the 17th. And now it's been roughly 212 days. So a little bit over 7 months roughly where we have hit this top multiple times. And the more times that it ends up hammering at it, I think the better, because eventually once it smashes to the upside, there's going to be some huge momentum going upwards. So can you just imagine how the market is going to react after we break this 7-month trend line resistance that's been holding? I think the market's going to have an amazing period of growth, and we're likely to hit an all-time high sometime before this year as well. And I know for a fact that I'm really looking forward to trading this particular market. I will be dedicating a lot of time to day trading to diversify the profits from both the investing side and also the day trading side. I think it's extremely important to prioritize a delicate balance of both to bring in the capital from these opportunities that are not going to happen every so often. So during Q4, for example, in especially November and December, I plan to be working extremely hard and focusing specifically on the market. I finally have nothing planned later this year. For the months of, for example, July, August, September, and October, I was traveling a significant amount, actually April as well, and May, with family and also with my partner. So now it's time to buckle down, and that's something that I would recommend to everybody to do, which is give crypto the attention that it requires to do extremely well in. So we see that this trend line is very powerful. In fact, you can even clone this trend line and call it a, I don't know why I didn't clone there quite. Sometimes this feature doesn't quite work, so you have to use the different types of trend lines, or sorry, the different, you have to use like the parallel one where I can't seem to find. Give me a second here. Oh, here we go. Okay, so if you take a look at it from the perspective of a channel, you can see that this is doing pretty well right now, like that, right? So this is a channel, excuse me, that's been holding, and every time it goes above this channel, I'll be above those lines, and below this channel as well, they would be considered a bull trap and a bear trap region, and it seems to have recovered every time. So the worst case scenario, in my opinion, would be it's going to hit the lower trend line one last time, which could be the very final opportunity for you to accumulate. And you can see that around these particular regions over here, like this is a very strong support right around the $54,000-$55,000 region, because you can see that both of these times right here, right? You see this guy right there. Actually, I can just use my stylus right here, and also right here. Those are the open and the closes of the candle, or in this case, the close and then it opened. So every time it closed red, if you zoom in over here, right, you see every time it closes red, the next candle ends up becoming very bullish. So the red candle is a monster candle where it's causing a lot of uncertainty in the market, as you can see, right? But then the next green candle is very bullish, and it doesn't really get below the body of, or the close of the previous candle. And in this case, it actually did the exact same thing as well, as you can see, right? So you can see that, like, let's try to move it here. This candle is the exact same thing. When it opens, it doesn't go below the close of the previous candle. So that's a very significant factor, because in August and September, it repeated these things. So I think that the worst case scenario that can actually occur would be a $54,700, like, roughly close. It might, of course, wick slightly below it, but for it to do that, like, it's going to take a lot of effort, and it needs to happen sometime, I'd say, very soon, because I do expect Q4 to be a major catalyst for when this trading season could really begin. Like, don't get me wrong, we had some amazing seasons to trade in, like, previous months, right? Every time Bitcoin hit these bottoms, the market went wild again, and there were a lot of coins that were even outperforming Bitcoin. Like, for example, I have a lot of the lists over here of coins that were doing well. I remember, like, RNDT, SAT, NMR, like a lot of these coins were, I remember Zeta, like ARC, like these coins were performing extremely well, especially TLM, Auction, and Rare. So if you take a look at some of these coins here, like for example, in August, you can see that TLM did extremely well. You can see Auction in August over here, it did extremely well, right? It ended up spiking a tremendous amount and then wicking down. You can see Rare at the beginning just do extremely well as well. You can see DAR in August doing very well. And those were just some months, but there's been a lot of other coins as well. So I believe there's always going to be opportunities to trade in this market, regardless of how Bitcoin is actually performing. So on the low side, I don't think that Bitcoin's going to get below, like, the 54.7 support level. If it does, maybe it's going to wick a little bit below here. Okay, it's going to wick a little bit below there, and just maybe it's going to touch, like, that lower trend line again. But I don't expect much of a drop. So other than that, let's take a look at some other metrics from into the cryptoverse and just take a look at some data here. For example, you're seeing that the fear and the greed index, it's roughly about 57 right now. So there's not a lot of greed, there's not a lot of fear, more so on the neutral level. Okay, so that's looking all right. Then if we take a look at the historical risk levels, when Bitcoin gets to an all-time high, it's going to end up hitting around the 1 range. So Bitcoin hits an all-time high, historical risk levels get between 0.8 and about 1. And when you time it with the risk level reaching closer to 1, and also the greed in the market being between 80 and 100, those are generally good times in the market where there's a lot of frenzy, which could cause a parabolic movement like we've seen in the past before. But when this happens, it's also a clear sign that a top is likely to be reached. So you can see over here that the historical risk level is roughly 0.5. So it's right in the middle. And just for future reference, when you see the historical risk level between, say, 0.1 and 0.3, then you know that it's a great time to be accumulating in the market. So now let's take a look at some other factors like the fair value log regression. So you can see that the fair market value right now is actually considered undervalued. So crypto right now is severely undervalued. You can see in 2013 where it goes to the moon here, and it's overvalued. So this regression band right here is the fair market value. When it's extremely below it for a long period of time, that's where you would want to accumulate Bitcoin. When it overextends, like in 2017, like in 2013, like in 2021, both times, those are times to be very cautious. And keep in mind, I'm not trying to give you financial advice on YouTube right now. I'm giving you financial advice just loosely, right? Just my opinion and what I do. I would consider exiting the market slowly, not in one big chunk, of course, because it's good to put some on the table and let it ride to see how this can be taken. Because it's usually the last few months of a bull market where the majority of the profits are made. For example, if you just take a look at the market over here, okay, like in the previous years, if you would have kicked yourself in the ass if you exited your position too soon, right? So you take a look over here. This is where the accumulation period for alts began. Okay, so during that season right here, what you can see is we held steady between May, June, July. But if you correlate it to many metrics, like for example, the Bitcoin dominance around that time, this is what the Bitcoin dominance did. And so this is extremely important to understand that after those highs, the Bitcoin dominance just dropped to the downside. And then you'll notice that BTCD, it doesn't even rally again, really. It kind of just stays there in this range. So that's where the majority of the profits were shifted away from Bitcoin. People realized their profits, and then they ended up adding to their alt season. This is how alt season began. People realized their profits from Ethereum and Bitcoin, and then what ends up happening is the alt market ends up exploding. So if you notice around here, okay, right around here, that's Bitcoin dominance really low. But if you take a look at total 3, okay, total 3 is the market cap of all of Bitcoin, or sorry, of the entire market cap except for Bitcoin and Ethereum. So it's basically just alts. So if you look here, this is what happened. The crypto bull market for the alt season actually ended up beginning, okay? So we're looking for basically a shift in that market dominance, Bitcoin's dominance. So altcoin market ended up having a market cap by almost about, like 2x, 3x almost, right? So that's pretty big. So you see the market dominance right now for Bitcoin. It's not really, it's going up still right now, right? It's going up. So this is not a time to be taking everything out of Bitcoin and putting it into alt season, but it is good to diversify into alt as well right now. Like you don't want to be too heavy in all of Bitcoin and Ethereum, because then you're going to have your eggs in one basket and you're going to miss out on a lot of profit by not having it into altcoin seasons as well, right? So there's so many metrics to be taking a look at. And right now we're just severely undervalued, as you can see, right? We've been undervalued for a pretty long time now. So just taking a look at the fair market value and also the risk levels and the fear and greed, like it's kind of in a neutral level right now where it's getting ready to kick off, right? That's my opinion. So I'm going to leave you guys here, 13 minutes into the video already. I want to thank you for watching this video and thank you for all of your support. If you guys enjoy the quality of the content that I release, just hit the like button to support me. And if you have not followed me on Twitter already, make sure you guys are following Philakone Crypto for all of the latest news. So have yourselves a great day, and I hope to see you again tomorrow. Bye now.